Alrighty, Finance Committee, January 20th, 2026 meeting. We have all in attendance. I have not heard from Jason, and I did hear from Kathleen. She's not able to be here this evening. So I'll be sending her notes afterwards, just so she's aware of what's up. Alrighty. With that, I'm not sure if Liz will be here or not. It depends. She was traveling, and it depends with the weather, I think is what it is. But she has been working on our minutes, so as soon as she gets back in, we'll be just taking some time and just running through those. Other than that, our reserve fund is still at $35,000, and again, I'm going to note that I am not deprecating that amount until I receive a signed copy from the select board. So we know that we've approved more. I just have not got the signed piece of paper back that the select board has agreed to it. So I'm just trying to keep our numbers consistent with the documentation that we have. All right. Any old business or anything that anybody wants to bring up before we start our department meetings tonight? Okay. We're going to move quick then. All right. Alrighty.
There's Jason. Jason.
Get us up, Jason.
We do a long time next time, please?
Snow. Yeah, try to drive by.
Oh yeah, come on up.
Bring the boss up.
Big table.
Yeah, how are you?
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
We'll keep having it. I'll even go this way.
Yeah, one of those going on there.
You good? Good. You want one for Kathleen? You would probably like one, yeah, if you want.
What's up? How's the doing? The boys and girls doing?
Everybody's great, Al.
Great, yeah.
Yeah.
Because one of us is currently going blind. So,
What'd you say?
one of us is currently going blind. I have to get my cheetahs up.
Oh.
So first and foremost, they put in for that reserve transfer fund. I appreciate that greatly. On a side note, before we get into the nuts and bolts of this, everything that could break this year, I've said this previous years, has broken. I just got a quote today for $14,000 for the hydraulic generator that needs to be replaced on the engine. Things just aren't going well with apparatus, and we'll talk about that at the very end. And I still have one engine to go to be serviced and find out what's wrong with it. This year has been a fairly catastrophic year with engine repairs. They're getting older, and I always bring the capital stuff so you guys know. It's at the very end. We'll talk about. They're getting older, and it's just a sign of times. We're getting busier, and we're running more equipment. The 1990 has to go off for service. 1991, which I'll tell you last Thursday, was the only fire truck with water that we had in service in this town. I was working on borrowing one from 5 different communities, offered me engines, and I was going to borrow one with a certificate of insurance to prove that the town of Whitman, which is bizarre, has insurance. But we were able to get one back from the manufacturer, from the repair shop, minus the generator. I don't know. I have a whole lot of money left, but it's one of those things I'm going to have to fix. I can't have it without the generator work. And we can talk in capital. So this year, because one of us is going blind, I made the first page huge.
All right, I can read it.
Remember we used to sit here and I'd be sitting here squinting, you'd be sitting here squinting.
Bigger's better.
Amy did this for me because she looked in and I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I can't make that bigger, you know. So we'll just run through it. Myself and the deputy chief, that's all contractual, right? All of the services, that is based upon the increase contractually this year that was with the contract that was just signed. And there's been some stuff added into it that I'll get to on the other page of this. There's 2 pages. So on this, there's this first page, which is pretty self-explanatory. Then I always give you a breakdown by person, by position, the following page. Then the page after that, I actually gave you a breakdown of where some of these added expenses came from when we worked on it. But anyways, all the services come out to the $4,092,427, and we'll go into that. Clerical Amy, 48,985, which is consistent with a 3% increase, which is contractual out of the town hall this year. There's some paperwork in here to talk about that at the end as well. Expense went up $15,000, which is probably not even close enough. We were told to do our contractual stuff and then to level fund our expenses. Just for 100% transparency, our medical supplies alone go up 4 to 6% a year.
Right.
There's not,
And that level.
there's not a whole lot I can do about that. We've done the best we can. That we now have a vendor that services us weekly. So I'll give you a side note on that. Is we used to have to buy in bulk. So say, just for simplicity, I needed 3 oxygen masks. I had to buy a case of 24.
Case of 20?
Yeah, you have to buy them by the case. You couldn't buy them individually.
You could
So
buy
like if
a
I need,
case, right, like buy a case of 1 Salter Labs, the regular oxygen mask?
yeah, just for an example, we'd have to buy a whole case. What we do now is when they come in and do our inventory, they say, hey, you need 4, and they replace it. So we did that. It saves, in the long run, it's probably a wash as far as expense goes, but we're not throwing out a lot of product. At the end of the year, we used to throw out IV stuff, oxygen equipment, and all that. So we've taken steps on that. But as far as the expenses of the department goes, that was not what I originally wanted. And I had a quick meeting with the town administrator, and that's more than reasonable. We have another ambulance coming. It'll be delivered in 2 weeks. And that's on the other page. I'll show it. We've never done the breakdown. I've always showed up here with this, and that's all. Pages 3 and 4 now has a breakdown of it, and you can see where the increases are. Expense there, we were town fire sprinkler building system maintenance. We went up $4,000. Lo and behold, Todd DeCudo actually oversees that, but he doesn't have a budget, so I still maintain it. What we found is when we're actually doing the maintenance and the required testing, it went up drastically. And he shopped around to find the best price, and we have a really good company that's working with us now. I ain't saying it was neglected before, but I don't think we had them checked as often as they should have been. Forest fire, that one went down $500. In theory, I wrote a grant 2 or 3 years ago. We have a new forest fire coming through an Assistance for Firefighter grant. They keep telling me, 4 to 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. I'm hoping it's here within the next month or two. And that'll be, have some warranty, so that will be, in the future, you should see that going away, other than basic maintenance, the $1,500 will work for oil changes, if we have to do tires or anything along those lines. Ambulance repair and maintenance, $5,000 increase on that. I do $10,000 in ambulance, so we'll have 4 now. In theory, I probably should have gone to 40,000, but what we did with this ambulance that we've never done with any other ambulance is we bought the extended warranty. I'll cut to the chase too. That'll give me 2 spare ambulances. They'll have to be maintained. Someone was like, why don't you sell one of those? Because the trade-in price was not worth the $25,000 I put for a motor in it last year. And the way these things were breaking for a short time, the more the merrier. At some point, obviously, we'll be able to look into either trading one in or selling them. I have some leads on how to sell this stuff when the time comes. But for right now, until the new ones' bugs get worked out, and like I said, we bought the extended warranty on that for 8 years. So how we run ambulances, in theory, depending on how things go, is it's 3 years up front, 3 years as the second, and those 2 run constantly. Those first 2 ambulances run. And then it goes to reserve, and it spends 3 years over there. So that new ambulance in this cycle will have under warranty, bumper-to-bumper warranty for all but 1 year when it's in reserve. I think that only made sense, and it was something that came to light. I think we talked about it a few years ago, that it only made sense to do when I replaced 2 motors last year in ambulances.
Is it hours or is it for a year? Or 8 years?
8 years.
Is it better the hours of the motor?
No, it won't be the hours. I'll check on the mileage to make sure it was all inclusive. The thing that gets us, and it's a great point, the thing that gets us is you can look at some of our apparatus and like, the ambulances they just get used, right? The fire trucks, you might look at the mileage and go, that's not that bad.
No, it's the hours.
Look at the hours. They'll sit idling for hours. I mean, we can have a big event that can idle for 24 hours. And it eats them up a little bit. So I only went up $5,000 on that. Ambulance billing, we stayed at $33,000. That's a percentage of what we bill out, and hopefully that'll cover us. Armory building maintenance, went up $2,000 to $10,000 to maintain that armory. The biggest fear I have, or one of the bigger fears I have, is losing that building and going down the pathway to Park Ave School again. Let's just be honest. At some point, we should look at getting heat in there. Todd had a lead on 2 boilers to put in there. There could be a little asbestos remediation that could go there, or it'd have to be evaluated. So we would have to look into that, possibly put heat in there and salvage that building. We have a big gas heater in the bay now, but it doesn't do the rest of the building. We winterize it, we shut the water off. We shut the water off and we winterize it. It was actually a great feature to have the water on when the DPW was there.
Yeah.
It was a great utilization of that building. The other thing, I was just thinking about it with the frigid weather coming. If we didn't have the armory, coming up, I'd have 2 ambulances outside, an engine, a rescue, a broken forestry truck, which I have to give back to the state, which is okay, a fire alarm truck, and the CERT truck. Everything would be outside. So when they say, what's it being used for? It's being used for semi-cold storage. The heat's set at 50 just to keep the pumps from freezing.
We're still supporting it with Plymouth County, the area for public safety for.
Semlek.
Oh, the truck just came back.
Yeah.
I spoke with the selectman. So one thing that is in there is the technical rescue collapse unit. It's a tractor trailer unit for the Plymouth County Tech Rescue Team. It was in East Bridgewater. It had been there for years. We asked them to leave when the DPW came in. And when I was asked about it, I think it's a great resource that we have in there. God forbid something happens. We're not waiting for the truck to come from Plymouth, onset or whatever. It's in the armory. And the guy that drives it lives in East Bridgewater. So we're pretty tight on that. Other than that, the DPW still has some stuff in there.
Still there?
Yeah, some stuff in there. Yeah, some stuff in there, which I can be.
Always takes a while to move out.
I can be a good neighbor about it. It's cool. The Christmas tree, if you're wondering where the Christmas tree from the park went that was in the pool, that's in the pond. It's in the armory. Please come by and see it.
Christmas in July.
Yeah. So dispatch, that's contractual, 98,537. EMA expense minimally at 3,000, and that's just for our normal stuff. The generator maintenance, also Todd works on. We've gotten a new company. We had some problems a few years ago with some service issues. He's gone with a new company, and one of the things is the increase, and we pretty much stayed mellow on that, is the increase of checking our generator and the police generator twice a year. It used to be serviced annually. The last thing in the world we can do is have one of the 2 buildings go down. And I'm not sure, he might be doing one other building, but I know for 100% he's doing police and fire twice a year. So we come down to that, 4.48397, 480 for the 496415. So the very next page is a breakdown of all the employees. Not with names, just a collective breakdown. What we need to get to is the next page. This is the page I've never shared. For some transparency, yeah. As we look on this, it breaks it all down, where we were. But you can also see to the right, we
I should have done.
We should have done color. But you can see where the costs came from, where the expenditures came from. For example, vacation time, we have an increase. And that's what it is. It's 220 days, 220 nights, coverage for the 24 members. That's where the number comes from. Vacation carryover. So we need to talk about this. What I have done historically, and has historically been done, we call ourselves Tim 1, Tim Travers, Tim Grenon, now me, Tim, back to Chief Travers. When they don't use their vacation time, we've always encumbered the money from the previous year and carried it over. I am being told we cannot encumber the money from one year to the next. I'm not done with this, not to be negative, but encumbering money is for a bill occurring in one fiscal year that won't be paid to the next. I actually think a contractual obligation is such. So I'm not going to give up on that one just quite yet, but each member has the ability to carry over a week's vacation. There's 24 members. That is 24 weeks of vacation, in case they all cut
That was 10 hours.
10 and 14s, so it's 24 hours.
Okay.
So they get so it'd be 20 hours a day. So
Yeah, no, I
20
get it. I
hours.
just a lot of new members. That's all you know.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that's to cover their vacation carryover. That being said, will every person carry over a week's vacation? No. but they could. Yeah, and I'm a little concerned that if that money doesn't roll over, and we end up absorbing it anyways, because they get the vacation this year, we encumber the money, they roll it over to the next year, but there's always an increased pay rate. So there's always that offset.
Yep.
But it doesn't hurt to encumber the money. So I added that in, just as a caveat, to be like, if I can encumber it, that is money that we're gonna have to look at. Comp time. In the latest collective bargaining agreement, each member has been given the opportunity to use 96 total hours of comp time, which there was never a cap. So putting a cap on it at 96 was mutually agreed upon between the union and the town. And comp time, in theory, isn't supposed to cost us any money until you only have 2 weeks vacation and you decide you're going to take 2 more weeks off by comp time. Granted, they work for it, but then I have to cover it, so it adds that time to the pot. So that is that number, which I'm sure we're going to be negotiating downstairs, I would think, is 96 hours per person if they take comp time. Once again, I have no idea, knowing who's going to take comp time. Some guys don't take any. Some guys think it's the greatest thing in the world. You know, just to go back to the first page, to tell you how we come up with our overtime numbers, and this makes numbers people cringe. Mary Beth just doesn't. For a numbers person, this makes you cringe. We take the 24 members, we take their overtime rate, add it up, divide it by 24, and it gives us a mean average. Is that the exact number of what's needed to cover that vacation time? It is not. Because I don't know if you're going to work for me, you're going to work for me, I'm going to work for you, who's going to work, and that type of thing. Just so you know where that number comes from. Because there's no way to actually figure out who's going to work for who. But back to this. So that was the only thing. Callback, I went up on the hours of callback. We went up to 38 hours a week. There's no way to predict callback. We'll go a couple days without it. Was it 3 weeks ago? We were super busy. We had over 100 hours of callback.
Yeah.
It's just having to call the staff in to fill in the extra trucks when those, predominantly when both ambulances are running, or we're at a fire or mutual aid, if we're out of town mutual aid. We've been going out of town a lot recently, and a townsperson asked me, why do you go out of town so much? Because they come to us when we need them. It's a give and take. Sometimes it works out. But I just wanted to go through all that, give you this. The holiday coverage has stayed, contractually, acting officer stayed. All these stipend positions are contractually negotiated contract stipend positions for the number of hours and how many they do a week. Some of those, like the EMS officer, I'm mandated by the state to do that. I have to have someone, and he does a really good job. This is not the year, but I've been asking for an EMS officer and a day officer for the last 4 years. I get it. It's not the year. But understanding that this is, his role is vitally important along with all the rest. The EMS officer, IT, they do a heck of a job. The LMT, which saves us money in the long run because he can do some small stuff, light bulbs, simple fixes on the trucks, up to anything major mechanic, instead of sending it to a shop. I think I saw the shop rate at the shop that wants to do, well, we'll do the generator. I'm going to have to do it. But I think it's $180 an hour. I said something to them, and they told me the place that's in Dedham, I want to say it's Cummings or Kenworth or something, is $240 an hour shop rate. So if I can pay him 2 hours of overtime for $80, and have him do a bunch, it only makes sense. Station maintenance, that's helped with keeping our old station afloat. Fire training, it's imperative to keep their standards up. I have a weird mixture now. I have some older, more experienced firefighters, and I have a lot of young guys.
Right.
A lot of young guys. So the training's imperative to keep their skills up. I wish I could do more. I wish I could have a training officer during the day, but my training office does a heck of a job. And then safe officer, that's through the schools, getting into the schools for fire education, and then emergency management, assist myself and the deputy. And then the rest of it is all fairly self-explanatory. Like I said, we just gave that to you because I don't think you've ever seen it.
No. Somebody who's been here for a while, this is the first
I
time.
won't lie to you, we've never shared it. It's done every year.
Yeah.
But I think if you can see it and kind of with a quick explanation in the column, be like, oh, this kind of makes sense. Or in another
Might
note,
answer some questions before they arise.
exactly. The other thing on that is if you have questions after this, I am not hard to find. Please call. Swing by. I'll give you a tour of the place. We'll get to that at the end. You'll enjoy it thoroughly. And then all that breakdown there. So this is what I bring forward. We bring forward this every year about the executive assistant. I've been wanting to change her title to the executive assistant for the fire chief since I became chief. I think there's a misnomer that she answers telephones and takes memos. She's intricately involved in the operation between ambulance billing, help me compile the budget, day-to-day operations. She's a vital role. She is a key component of the command staff there. And I gave you a comp, there's a comp in there of all the other areas with the executive assistants. We don't have to go through them line by line. There's a bunch of stuff in there. But I will be coming for more money. Like I said, it's a 3% this year. But in the future, to maintain good staff and to hold staff and someone who knows, as I round third and head for home on my career, they're gonna need someone there that knows what's going on at some point in the next few years. So just to take a look at that when you have a chance. Go ahead.
Yeah, so right now, does the hours change?
Nope. Still Monday through Thursday, 32. And the comps are in here with the hours. I stapled them upside down. I apologize.
Oh, that was me, sorry.
Yeah, the printer did that.
Oh, no, I did yours upside down.
That's fine. This was the one I've been working off of. So just a comp. Once again, I know it's not the year. 3 to 1, right? And as always, I throw any questions on any of that. Sorry. I go quick. It makes sense to me. I look at this every day.
You mentioned ambulance billing. How much are we actually billing out? How much are we getting paid?
Yes.
Years ago, we used to get a lot of money.
We do. We used to.
What happened?
We probably, I think the last time we looked, we bill out around 3 million.
Something like that.
A little north of 3 million. We recouped about 1.2 this year.
Yeah.
A lot of it is our fees. We can charge whatever, that's a good question. We can charge whatever we want. Medicare and Medicaid are gonna pay the flat rate.
Why don't they base everything off of that, though? Because I'm in the insurance industry, I'm in the healthcare industry. Everything's based off what Medicare pays. You know what I mean?
Right,
Allowables and
so
whatnot.
what we did is when we went into it, we hadn't raised rates in forever.
Yeah.
Way before I was chief. We went in, we did an evaluation of the area.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer in you don't wanna be top and you don't wanna be last. So these rates put us somewhere in the middle, upper middle.
Yeah.
No, let's be honest, upper middle. It was based upon what it costs us to run the service and our expenses, and actually what services we're providing compared to other areas. Would we have gotten a way better number for town meeting if we'd just gone off the Medicare rates? Yeah, they would have estimated this and we got this much, and everybody would have been like, hey, those are fair and reasonable rates on the ambulance. I don't see us going up for a little bit, for a while. Private insurance pays it, they don't really have a problem. We've started a little bit of an education thing on the ambulance billing. A lot of times people don't understand. They get something and what's it say? It says this is not a bill. They'll say this is not a bill. What do? They circular file it. They get rid of it. What it does say is, in order for you to not get a bill, please flip this over and put your insurance information on the back. They don't do that. Don't do that. We just came up with a new policy. The town came up with a new policy that we were involved in about sending people to collections. So the ambulance billing company makes 6 attempts to get a hold of the people, to get their insurance information, and after that they'll send them to collections. There's variables in there. I dug my heels in and I kind of really didn't go along with this at first because I absolutely refused to charge a little old lady for her ambulance bill when she's lived in Whitman since 1940. So we were able to come to an agreement based upon economic need of the individual to write them off under $500. I can just do it. Above I think it's above 8. I'd have to have it in front of me, but above a certain amount, I'm going to meet twice a year with the town administrator, and we'll see where we're at before they go off. Prime example: I had a sweet little elderly citizen of this community come in. She had her hat on, her little purse, and she sat down, and she was going to pay me her ambulance bill $5 a week for the rest of her natural life. It was like $500. I'm like, you can go. You can go. I'll pay it myself before I let them send you to collection. You know what I mean? I'm not going to let that happen to you. And that's one of the things that we set the parameters to where what can go to collection, how it's going to go. Back to your question, why didn't we set up Medicare? Because they're extremely low and they're not close to what the services that are being provided.
Yeah, I mean, is it the population that you're picking up, though? They have Medicare?
Yes. A lot of so we have a lot of We have a lot of people that can't pay.
Well, I get that. I mean, or they have 80% coverage,
Yeah,
20%,
and
stuff
then-
like that. There's waivers for that.
Yeah,
But if we
they
just
can-
don't go after it, and they have the 80%, why don't we go after the 80%?
That's why this new policy's in place. That
Right.
maybe people will be able to come through.
Right.
Really, we went to the senior center.
No, I
I
wouldn't,
do it.
Chief, I wouldn't expect you to go knocking on people, residents, beating
No.
down for it. Now, you've made that approach before, but a lot of these people don't know that.
Yeah.
You know
We-
what I mean? I'm in favor of not beating the
Yeah.
customers up, their taxpayers, whatnot, but if we can build the insurance, by all means, you know.
And it comes down to education. I'm telling you, we
Yeah.
were over at the senior center. Amy brought a form, and they're all like, "Well, we go flip it over and put your insurance on." We even offered up, if you want to come into the firehouse, one of us will help you fill it out. Please, let's get this done. Just come in. We're going to have to make a visit over there again. We were over there, and I tried doing it when I did coffee with Chief, and they were more interested in
So you don't
smoking.
have a credit card machine when you come in and they put them in the ambulance or you get a credit card?
'Cause I know
They do it at the hospitals. They do it at
it
the
on the back.
hospitals.
Is that like a statewide thing that you have to?
It's the ambulance billing company does it.
So you can't ask them to put it on the front, so that's the first.
Maybe we could
thing
do
they say,
two.
you know
Maybe
what I
we
mean?
could do two. We could ask them
We
for
could
2
ask.
pages. That's just their standard form.
Right.
This is not a bill. Please flip over and
Right.
put your insurance info in. I'll tell you, I know a person that just got injured at Aruba. They got injured and had to go to a hospital. Here's something that's bizarre. Cash for service.
Yeah.
They will take care of you, but you're going to
Yeah,
pay.
Credit card.
Yeah, imagine that. They had to charge, I think they charge your ambulance bill. That's wild.
Well, they do that at the Social Hospital. They do that. My sister works there too, and I went to the emergency room and had her kidney stone last year, and they go, "Oh, Al, you have a co-payment?" I go, "Oh, where's my credit card? Thank you." You know,
I went there
You know,
most likely thinking I was
I'm not saying to do that.
No, no.
You know, but-
I was having an allergic reaction. Really couldn't breathe. Kind of, sort of, for a few minutes, thought I might die. I'm like, I've survived all this stupid stuff to get killed by a prescription medication, right? I'm like, and they came in. They're like, now you have a $25 copay, and I'm like, I'm going out. I'm taking. Well, I can't say that. It's recorded. But, anyways, that is the breakdown. Obviously, I know there's some add-ons in there for the carryover, and I'm still working on that. I was told that I have to connect with the accountant, Quincy Adams. I will connect with him. My sarcasm came through in the last conversation that I'm like, well, what we're talking about is actually the definition of an encumbrance. In my opinion, I might be wrong. He might be a bazillion % right. But just in case the members do carry that time over, I don't need to be coming back. And if we have a special town meeting going, hey, I need $86,000 for vacation that got carried over. You know, that just makes for a bad town meeting, as we all know. I always throw them in. You want to do these quick? You want to do the capital quick?
If you want,
Question on the
but you wanna
budget, if
keep
you
us
don't mind.
aware,
Yeah.
we've got another group. that
That's not a problem.
library's
Sorry. So I'm trying, I got the 587,290, right? That's over, all of the services over last year.
Yeah.
The details on here are excellent, but I can't, none of these numbers add up necessarily to 587,290, right? So I guess my question is like, what's driving that really big increase?
Salaries. It'll
So
be
is it just all shifts being filled versus you're not really filling all your shifts right now?
Great question. So what we do, I'm filling everything. We got the money. I had the money budgeted for the overtime. What killed me was not having the spot filled. I'm actually working on getting that filled with a currently trained firefighter, so I don't have to send them to the academy and stuff. I'm working on it. It'll work. The driving force is in order to provide the services that we provide, we need 6 people there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And what do you have right now?
6.
Okay.
We're fully staffed. We have one member down, so there's a shift load that I've been filling with overtime.
Sure.
But I was told to operate the way we normally operate, but I was also told we couldn't hire anybody because we didn't have the money in the budget. We'll be, budgetarily, we'll finish out this year. We should be, barring 28 inches of snow next weekend, we should be fine. I say this for the newer members on the board that we haven't really gotten to interact over the years. I am usually, budgetarily, a blizzard or 2 away from destroying my budget, or a couple major fires. If we have a 12, 24-hour incident where I have most people in for that fire, can we plan for it? No. A few years ago, Mr. Warner, Dr. Warner was not the chair. I got into it with the chair. He's like, well, how? And he was asking a legit question, but the question turned into, how many fires am I going to, and I got mad, which happens occasionally. How many fires am I going to have this year? I don't know. Me
How do
neither.
we need?
Yeah, me neither, right? How many ambulance calls we have? Of those ambulance calls, how many are going to be ALS and how many are going to be ALS? My fallback all the time, I won't keep you, you can look at those if you need to. My fallback is we staff to where we need, make no bones about it, we need more people. I get it. Somehow we make, the members, not me, the members make this work. They make it happen by coming in off duty. You know, a townsperson did say, well, they're compensated. Yeah, we all came in on Christmas for a fire. I said, did you go anywhere on Christmas other than a family's house? And they were like, no. I'm like, okay then.
2 in the morning.
Nah, thank God, it was during the middle of the day, nobody got hurt.
But you had
But-
this issue just this past week, right? You had that big accident and everything, and,
Nah,
you guys, you needed people to come in off shift. They weren't
In the middle of the night.
to cover the firehouse in case something else happened while everybody was out.
And
right?
historic, correct, 100%. We went to Easton for that big fire, the 4 alarms they had. You know, those are long duration calls. And like I said, I watched, I'm already watching the storm that's not supposed to start this Sunday. We end up being a storm or 2 away from really messing things up. 2015, you guys were, it was horrible. Like, there was just multiple shifts all the time, and it was just brutal. It was just brutal. Budgetarily. Physically working and budgetarily, and just like, what are we going to do? I'll tell you, those that know me, I swore to protect this town, and I'll live and die by that sword. I'll protect this town, and we'll figure it out afterwards, if we have to. I said it in the town meeting, you know, with the cuts early on, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it, and then they told me to keep doing what you're doing, fill the 6 and make it happen, and I did. I had deep concerns about that, but like I said, I'll live by the sword and die by it. My goal is to protect the citizens of this town. And cuts are coming, I get it. But the thing is, I said this in another meeting, and it's not to ruffle any feathers. I liked in the town meeting, you said, we prioritize services. I truly, one person, I don't know if anybody else did, but I can tell you one person in that room appreciated that, and it was me. Because I'm not going to pit department against department. That's not my thing. I have one department that's right over there that I have to worry about. But I cannot prioritize safety over. I prioritize safety over everything else. So, just a cap, I'll talk. New fire station, I ask for it every year. It's 125 years old. I need fire hose for $100,000. I ask for a fire truck every year that's breaking. If you guys have extra money and you want to give me $14,000 for a generator, that'd be awesome.
Well, we got the fire station, we got the fire truck, we need the station, right?
And then I asked for the shift commander's car that transferred. The problem is the trucks are getting bigger. I love PP, got some mails, but trucks are getting bigger, they're getting heavier, and I jokingly say this 1901 is not the address. It's the date it was built. But please, if you want to come by, if you have a question tonight, you have a question, text me, whatever you need to do, hit me up, come by the fire station, I'll give you a tour, and I'm sure we might see you again.
All right, Chief.
We spent a lot of time together.
Fine.
I got it.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank
I'll hit
you.
you up with an email because I actually got
Well, I saw, as you can see, Governor Healy's talking about fire hoses too. But by the time they get,
She wants to buy them, I'm in.
yeah,
Yeah.
with what, they don't have any money either.
No, nobody has.
No.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
The MBTA needs more money.
Okey ready for the next? Keeping us busy these days.
Yeah, let's not forget to do our greeting.
He's on. Okay. Ready? Want to come on up?
Good crowd tonight, huh?
Can all snuggle up, or whatever. You can stay back there.
We're all fine.
You've been here before.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mike.
Hello, I'm Rebecca. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
you.
Go around. I'm Chuck Colby.
Hello.
Cal Caffrey, how are you?
Mike Andrews,
Hi.
Jason Hunter.
Hello.
Mike Flanagan.
Hi.
Kevin Wolf.
And we have Ann on the phone. She just couldn't come in.
Hello. Hello.
All righty. So this is, have you ever been to one of these?
I've been to, I was the assistant director in West Bridgewater, so I've been to a few.
Similar stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so it's, the Finance Committee is a recommending body, and, you know, our task is to go through what the requests are that you believe, you and your staff believe, that the library needs to function properly. You've obviously got direction from town administrator, and we kind of look at that, but we're looking at all the departments, and then we give our recommendations to the select board, who they make their own decision based on that. All right?
All right.
So,
Okay, so I have the budget and a little letter that I wrote up just to explain what's been going on at the library financially, just some of the, which actually, I guess I could pass them all around.
Take one, pass it down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Quick question for you though, how long have you been on board with us?
I just started at the end of November, so
Yep. All right.
entering at a difficult time,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm ready to go here.
But she's been very, very well received by the staff and the community
Oh, good. Yeah,
and the trustees.
because the library has always done a very, great job for the community.
Yeah.
The people before you, so hopefully.
All right. So, I don't know if you want me to go through the letter or if you're reading it right now.
just take a second to read
Okay,
it.
perfect.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
But,
Can I ask you a question?
sure, of
What's
course.
the dollar figure on that 12.5%?
It comes out to roughly $6,000, and based on the charity sheet for next year, it'll be roughly $6,000 for next year as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And is that, obviously that's a concern, is that just due to the staffing challenges, or was there cuts last year? And
So-
what's the,
The previous budget, we had to have a part-time position that was cut from the budget, so that wasn't able to be filled. And then we had an issue with one of the staff members who had to leave for medical issues, and I believe that's when we cut back on hours. If you can confirm with me.
The hours had been cut back as a result of just having fewer people available to be
Available.
scheduled, just in
It's a
general.
labor shortage, right?
Just
Yeah.
the labor
Yeah,
shortage.
it's everywhere, yeah.
Because of the number of, for what we were budgeted.
Right.
Because David had wanted to add a position, and that was denied. And
Right.
then, as far as the staffing was concerned, we had like a half position
Yeah.
that could have been filled, but our concern was that it might be cut again, and we just really didn't want to put somebody into a spot knowing that they were going to lose their job within 6 months or something like that. So
Right.
our hope was that it might have gotten reinstated, but it didn't. And so, and then with this person now on a medical leave, it's been short. And we were down both the director and the assistant director from David left the third week of September, and the assistant director left 2 weeks after that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's been a
Was
lot
that
of.
due to the not getting
I think it contributed to it, but David lived on the Cape.
Yeah.
So he was commuting from the Cape, so I think it obviously was a better commute for him.
Yeah.
But I do know that the instability that he was experiencing with the budget was of concern. He's a young guy with a family, and it wasn't, it wasn't necessary for him to make the right decision for his family, which we totally understood, but we were sorry to see him leave. And then the assistant director left, and again, she moved a little closer to her home as well. But again, it was both. He did not, but she did mention to me directly that the budget was of concern. And so while they were not present, then because the director reports directly to the board of directors, then it fell on me as the chair of the library trustees. Then it fell on me to be doing the scheduling and all of that for about 6 weeks, 6-8 weeks, which was a big learning curve.
Did it free up any money with David leaving? I mean, wasn't he paid
a
really
little bit,
well?
but we've had to bring in a number of substitutes, and so that's how we're actually doing so much of the staffing now is through substitutes, and I think that's the direction that it sounds like. We didn't have really enough subs even available. We've been extremely fortunate with the subs that came in. They're all library experienced people, and so that's been wonderful, but it would just be nice because you just don't know. You have to call them and say, oh, are you available for this day? You can't set a schedule. So,
Right, yeah, on call.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're working on,
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, there was talks of completely closing the library at one point, wasn't there?
I think that, well, the talk is that if we can't maintain the hours, then it would be closed. I don't think it was ever the intention of closing the library.
That was if the override didn't pass. I think it was more of a just make people aware of some things.
That we wanted to keep.
Well,
I don't think
in the
it was-
direction. I mean, if we can't get the funding to maintain certification,
Yeah.
then I don't know what was in this, but
5 hours shy of
Yeah, yeah.
maintaining. So I wonder if the select board was aware of that when they
It's 5 per week, though. Right?
it's 5 hours per
per week,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
If we fall below the 45, we risk losing accreditation.
Right.
So if you got this budget and could staff, would you be able to hit the 50 hours a week needed?
Right now, I don't believe it's possible. I came from a library that was open for 45 hours a week, and we had 8 people on staff. We had 5 full-time and 3 part-time, and the part-timers could do more hours than they can in this town. We could push it to 40 hours once we are back to our 5 full-timers, which we don't have right now, but it would create a lot of tension. I mean, we are down 1 full-time staff member who's in the hospital right now, and it shouldn't take losing 1 full-time staff member to bring the library to such struggles. So
It's just hard because then you have to have, by their contract, they have to have 2 people in the library at all times, and so, I mean, we were going in and filling in occasionally as trustees just to have another body there, because they just didn't have the people to be there.
And that doesn't count towards the 50 hours.
Well,
per
it keeps
week,
it.
right?
It keeps it. No, it doesn't. Well, it counted towards the 45 as long as we could stay open.
yes.
All right, so it didn't have to be a full-time employee.
Right.
No.
What's the parameters to hit that 50? What are the rules?
So
It's really the staff.
yeah, it's really the staff coverage you want to have. Ideally, I'd like to have 3 people in the building at all time. If someone were to have an issue with their kids or they get sick and they have to call out, then at least you have that 3rd person. If we have 2 people on staff and 1 person is out, then we lose hours. We have to close. And that's when we would get affected by the state. And it just makes it hard to do most of the things that you want your library to do. We can't plan programming. Cataloging materials has been very difficult, especially with the absence of one of our staff members who did most of the cataloging. We've had to reassign responsibilities. The staff doesn't get a lot of off-desk time. They're at the front desk and they're serving the public, and that's the extent of what they can do right now. So I'm going to continue with the 45 hours for as long as we can, if that it helps us out in the long run.
Now, when somebody as a trustee would go in to be that other body in there, are you guys in there in a volunteer position?
No, we're just there as a body in the
Yeah.
in the
Well,
building.
yeah,
because
and
we're
it-
not taking on any of the
Yeah.
responsibilities
Yeah.
of, we're not checking people out at the desk. I mean, if somebody asked a question
Yeah.
on directions or something like
put
that.
you to work. I put you to work.
Yeah.
But I just, you really are not in the position to be taking on the responsibility. I mean, they would have been happy to be doing it, to be helpful, but we didn't want to be violating the contract either. So you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place.
Are there other staffing moments? I mean, obviously, I don't think we're the only town that has the issue,
No.
right? But could it be done with part-time workers? Could it be done with interns? We have Northeastern, when I went to school there, they had a lot of people that needed to get hours towards their degree program, and they were looking for where to place, upcoming, if any of those are possibilities.
Interns would definitely be a possibility for some short-term help. Then again, you're relying on them to be responsible enough to come in. We do have subs, like we mentioned. We're trying to fill in the gaps with like 4 hours here and there that they can offer. Ideally, just one more part-time position, I think, would really help us in the long run. And I know that was what was cut from the budget before, so it's a lot to ask for that to be put back in, but
In the end, what was the part-time, what was that full figure for a year?
I believe it was 21,000.
21,000?
And does that fall under library technicians or those part-time workers?
We'll,
Can I ask you a question about the membership? I'm not sure if the same membership that we spoke in the past about is that you pay an association fee for get books that outside the area.
Yep, it's
Is that part of that? Right
so
there?
yeah, that's the 30,000.
That's the $30,000.
Yes.
How much is being used for that $30,000 that you see? I'm not saying
So-
cut that to offset labor.
Yeah.
It might be a situation where you might have to. Is it used? No, I don't know.
So-
I'm just explaining to everybody here. A lot
you're
of people
brainstorming.
brainstorming. That's what it is. You got to brainstorm and see
Yeah.
what you're in. You know.
No, I
know?
can explain that.
Yeah.
The library itself is part of the OCLN network.
Okay.
This offers our patrons access to materials all over the South Shore here. If we're not part of this network, we lose access to a lot of materials. There's another network we could join, but the idea of switching networks it's a lot, and I don't think we would be saving any money in the long run. The reason this figure is so high is because we use a lot of shared content. So when you are part of a network, you have access to ebooks and audiobooks that the entire network has access to, which means you can I could borrow from Plymouth per se, and that means me as a Whitman user is relying on their resources. So if they bought that book and
Yeah.
I'm using it, we're going to get charged a little extra because we are relying on their resources. We're relying on their
Do
funding.
you see it beneficial? Obviously, you do, right?
Yes, I see it.
So
I see
I'm
it's
just
very
asking because there's a
beneficial.
lot of new members here too that I know
Yeah.
exactly where you're going with it, but I just want
Yeah.
to knows that.
It's a huge help to be part of the
Question.
network.
It's a very good question.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is going to ask, what is this?
Yes.
It's a $30,000 line item. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean it's high because we do have a lot of people that are using
Good.
the
That's
network,
perfect. That's right.
and it's a great resource to have access to more materials than we can purchase on our own. So
And I appreciate, because we had to go back and forth a little bit, and I didn't even know. I was sending it still, and like, oh no, we have a new librarian. I'm like, okay,
yes.
well, let me know. So, and I felt bad because I think we were going to have you all come in early But I wanted to also give you a chance to like breathe.
Oh, yeah.
before you come to talk.
I'm learning a little
So I
bit.
appreciate your flexibility.
Thank you.
One thing that I will say that the previous director did, and you would not have had time to do this, but he put a nice little report together.
Yeah.
And it came together and it said exactly like you were saying, Alice, here's how many books were lent in and out, that sort of thing, and hours in programs that were done. So, for next year, if
Definitely.
again, I know you're already under the gun for time, but that's really helpful because it helps us to understand, but it also is something I would love to see shared with the rest of the town.
Absolutely, yeah.
They
I
don't
did-
appreciate what they don't see.
Yeah, I did stumble upon his previous presentation that he put together.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel it was in my best knowledge to go back on what I didn't know.
No.
But next year I would love to do that, so.
So if I'm hearing, you're looking for approximately 21,000 to replace that role that was there, get you back to that point. You should be able to hit the 50, which will
Yes.
put us back in line. But of that 21,000, if I just want to make sure I understand it, so about 6,000 of that, though, would come back to us
Yes.
in state. So it's really not
Although that won't be
21,000.
until FY '28 because you
Yes.
gotta do,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But there's,
yeah.
it's really about 3/4 of that is what it will cost the town if we keep that going.
Yes, I didn't enter the 21,000 into this proposal
Nope.
because
Good.
I know that it's quite an issue right now. But in the long run, we are losing money that could have been put towards that.
Yep.
So
Okay.
it's definitely something to consider.
And isn't the amount of money that we would be getting if the library was open longer a little bit higher as well?
Yes. Yes.
So if it's open 50 hours, then we get
the
more from
reimbursement or
We're only
whatever, that
getting
state aid.
87% right now reimbursement?
Yeah, that's the 12% we are losing,
Right.
which we mentioned.
Yeah. So if we were open to 50, would that go up above like 90 or so, or like the percentage coming?
So if we were open 50 hours right now, that would lead us into October, and we would be able to make up the whole 100% that they would offer. Unfortunately, we can't be up to 50 hours by October, so we're losing the 12% for this fiscal year. We're definitely losing it for next year. If we can't get up to 50 hours, we will continue to lose the 12.5%. It's 100% of the state aid that you receive when you're up to 50 hours. And then if the state has additional funding left over by the end of their year and they disseminate that to different libraries, we lose out on that if we're also not up to 50 hours. So,
Yeah, so like you said, that 21,000 is, it is 21, but in the end, it's probably a little less
Yeah.
getting something back
yeah.
when you look at it
There's
that
an
way.
offset to it. Okay. Right. Is there anything else that you and everyone that came with you and supporting you, I think, a lot right now?
Yes.
Anything here that, looking at the numbers you gave us, and I understand, it's a zero level fund, all that kind of stuff. What if that wasn't the case? Is there anything that you feel that the library really needs that would be, that we can look at here and target?
If we can't address the staffing issue and replace that position,
Yep, that's
obviously.
number one, yep.
The expenses as we have, these are the minimal expense amount that I could request. As we mentioned, the municipal appropriation requirement, that is just barely reaching line. So we are at the bare minimum of the amount that the state requires the library to be funded. So ideally, I would love to have more in the expense line in order to give us back some of the state aid that we could spend on programming or additional resources for the library. But that can be considered in the future.
Question, if that 21,000 were available, do you feel, is there candidates out there, would you be able to get staffing? Do you
Yes.
feel comfortable?
For a part-time position, I feel it's definitely possible. There's a lot of people who would like night shifts, which is one of the areas we're having trouble covering, or Saturday shifts, an additional part-time position. It would definitely be something that could be filled easily.
one of the things that I learned while I was in sort of covering was that in order to bring people in who are willing and able to volunteer even, you have to have the staff available to do that. And so you can't take them away from their responsibilities on the desk and the other things that the cataloging and everything else that they need to be doing, and training somebody else at the same time. It just becomes, it was really tough. If we were staffed, it would, and since we were down both the director, the assistant director, and then this person had been out intermittently, we were down really 3 people. 3 full timers.
Is that person coming back? Do you know of? Hopefully.
Right now,
determined.
she's going to be on long-term disability for some time. I can't foresee her coming back this fiscal year at all. But it's honestly still very up in the air.
So at that point, does it? Well, I guess I suppose it's up to the contract whether they're.
Yeah.
That's it.
Whether you can refill that
Your
spot.
insurance coverage. Yeah.
So you're still suffering because you're short.
Right.
We had that with the police department a few years ago.
Yeah. Doesn't help the budgets.
No, I mean, we all
Oh, yeah.
And just, I meant to also say to you all, the library trustees, the library staff, so appreciated your support on the boiler situation.
Oh, yeah, yep.
That was covered, that you supported that.
We could use some heat though, don't we?
Well, it was just, it's a big expense, and we're looking at, are we gonna do this? As everybody else is.
Yeah.
So,
Certainly a challenging time.
it is
It
a
is.
challenging time, and like I said, we're not the only ones. But, no. I don't envy you your job.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
It was nice to meet you.
Yeah, it was great to meet everybody as well.
Yes,
And
thank
thank you to you. A lot of new faces. Yeah, great.
Good luck.
Thank you.
It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. John, how are you?
Oh, we got trouble here now, huh?
That's
I
it.
think
That's
the
it?
library director,
Now we're in trouble.
the library director was making 160,000. Dan,
Yeah. All right, well, let's see, John, and don't know that you've met everybody here.
Probably not.
we got
Seems
some
like a lot of
Just run
new
around.
faces.
Mike Warner again.
Hi, John. Chuck Colby.
John, Al Cafferty.
excuse me, Mike Andrews.
Jason Hunter.
Mike Flanagan.
Kevin Wolf.
And we have Ann on the phone with us.
Okay.
Hi, John.
Hi.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, yours is not a huge budget to really
Yeah.
go through, but it's important.
Yes. So, yeah, I do want, I think we operate a little bit differently from some other boards. I think and particularly with so many new people, I always every year like to explain how we operate and why the numbers are what they are, because you might look at this and say, well, gee, in the last fiscal year, we only spent like 2,000, why we have a budget line item for 6,000. So our salary is our recording secretary and administrative assistant. She, when an application comes in, all of our hearings have to be advertised in a newspaper, and notices need to be sent out to the abutters. So there are a lot of legal requirements. So she has to get the list of abutters from the assessor's office, prepare the notices, send them out, and so forth, as well as coming to the meetings. And our minutes are more detailed than most boards would be because our decisions are appealable. So it has to be down on paper, everything that was discussed and why. It's not quite a transcript, but it's almost verging that way. So she prepares a draft of that. I go over that and come up with the final version. But so there's the hours she's at the meeting, the hours she's preparing, all those things. But we don't have any office hours. So her workload is totally proportional to the number of cases we have. If there isn't work to be done, we're not coming up with work for her to do. So the number of cases we had was low in fiscal year '25. I think and has been for a couple of years, and is running pretty low this year, which is not necessarily good news for the town. Yeah, we save a little money here, but we're not getting the money in the tax revenue with the new building. So I expect this year we probably won't spend, we'll probably be in that same range of 2,000, 2,500, something like that for the year. But there are years when there's a spurt, and I mean, we've been averaging like 20 cases or so a year. I can remember back before the Great Recession, we had something like 70 cases one year, which was a lot to handle. And within the last, I can't remember how many years ago it was while Lincoln Hyman was still here, that we had to come back and ask for a transfer at the end of the year because we had exhausted our budget because of the number of cases. So that's why we've continued to ask for the 6,000 or a little bit more. We just went for a 2.5% increase there. Just assuring you that we don't look at that money and say, how can we spend this money? If we don't have the work to spend it on, then the money just goes back into free cash at the end of the year, which is, what would have happened last year. So that's the way we operate.
Any questions for John?
Do you know how many you've done so far this or
Frankly, it's the last couple of months have been really slow. I don't think we got any cases in December. We've got one case now scheduled for the end of February, but it's like one case in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary, really. But could pick up with the like the new accessory dwelling unit bylaw that when I talked to the building inspector, people have been asking questions about it, but nobody's come forth with anything yet, and all of those applications would require a hearing with the zoning board. And sometimes we've had a couple of cases in the last few months that required more than one hearing because they were complicated and there was a lot of neighbors present, and we asked the applicant to go back and come back with some revisions. So sometimes the number of cases is directly proportional to the workload. If we were to get a big residential, if we were to get a big project, that could all of a sudden, and there are a couple, that we've heard wind of, but haven't come through yet. So that would probably require a couple of hearings. But overall, I'd say we're probably running behind last year in the number of cases at this point.
Does all new building go through the board?
If it's not everything, but first, if it's allowed in a zone by right, it doesn't need it. If it doesn't need a special permit, it doesn't have to come to us. However, all commercial buildings require site plan approval from us. So really anything significant,
So just
other than, a single-family house that meets all zoning requirements doesn't have to come to us. But almost everything else does.
So, yeah, just that low activity is indicative of some just low economic activity too.
Yeah, and the buildings like the buildings that are going up now, the one on Washington Street, was actually approved a couple of years ago, but it took them a long time to get their financing in place, and I think it's different ownership from who originally came to us. The one on South Ave opposite Ledbetter's, that happened more quickly.
Yeah, what are they doing over there?
It's going to be, again, commercial on the ground floor, residential above.
Special permitting because it's on the MBTA line?
Not from that. It's we for many years we've had a multi-use, mixed-use zone in the downtown area. That's what the building on Washington Street has gone up under.
Yeah.
So this has come under the same process. If they they can have residential in the upper floors and
Are they
commercial.
going the 40B project way?
Excuse
Are
me?
they going for the 40B low-income housing?
No,
Not that,
no, they're not.
Okay.
I mean, there's one potential 40B, but that actually came and had kind of an informal discussion with us
Right.
months ago, but nothing's happened yet that we know of.
Doesn't look like much parking over there.
Yeah.
And that one
On South Ave?
Yeah.
Well, the parking's going to be behind the building.
and that's for commercial use and for,
Yeah,
That's above?
yeah, and the thing is, they're not required to have too much commercial, parking for commercial, under the bylaw. The idea is they'll park on the street or, off the street or whatever. As, as happens downtown, like,
Yeah.
the Washington Street building, most of the parking that they have is going to be for the residences, because the assumption is people just park in the street for commercial reasons.
Won't they be doing some of the road in that area too, or is that a different project?
all the tips. something.
DPW has something in the works for South Ave with state
Yeah,
funds,
that they're gonna,
all the way like up to Route 58.
Yeah.
So,
kind of redoing that whole Rayner multi.
yeah, by the train station and
Yeah.
so forth. So, and yeah, even under the MBTA zoning, nobody's come in and used it yet. So.
No, that's not a bad thing,
Yeah. Again, there's a parcel in the industrial park
Yeah.
at the end of Pond Street that we've heard noise for years about it, and we've actually held, some informal meetings with the owners and said, look, this would be okay, if you want to do this. And again, nothing's come to us.
Yeah. At the old Jamie's,
Yeah, so that's...
the owner of that is, that's starting to look really pretty blighted.
Yeah, so that was one of the sites approved for a marijuana operation. So we do have, the first one is open on Bedford,
Further down.
further down Bedford Street. The Jamie's was another one that was approved. They came back to us about 6 months ago or whatever to get kind of reapproved because of the time that had gone by. So
Yeah.
they seem to at least still be intending to go ahead with that. The one that was approved down in South Ave in the old building across from the railroad station, that's dead. They're not going ahead with
They
that.
have so many pot shops around. They have one down the street on 27. You got this one to quarter.
Well, that's it. It's not quite the...
Yeah,
market.
that Jamie's location, that'd be a great place for another, the town tavern there. They
Yeah.
down in East Bridgewater's.
Now, who owns
Yeah,
the,
well,
who
what
owns the,
happened
who owns the
was-
property and who owns the building? I'm understanding the building is owned by someone else besides the landowner. There's a lease on that, is there?
Well, it's going to be owned, but the people who, because they're going to tear it down and put up a new building
All right, they sold
for
it.
the marijuana operation,
Yeah.
and it would have space for a couple of other businesses too. They're not allowed to have a full-scale restaurant in there because when it was sold, there was a deed restriction put on it because
Right.
it's owned by somebody who owned another restaurant, didn't want them, so
Until they
it
sold
can't be
it.
turned into another
Well, until they
restaurant.
sold the restaurants to downtown, right?
So again, we lose.
Right.
Yeah,
lose-
yeah. But anyway, if, it could be
Yeah.
other things that, at least at this point, those people still intending to go ahead.
Yeah, is there any time limit on whether or not that happens or not, or is that up to the owner of the property?
There's a time limit on the special permit, so, and I don't know if, they also needed the separate host community agreement with the selectmen. I don't know if there's a time limit in that, as to kind of force them to put up or shut up from
Yeah.
their point of view. I don't know if there
Yeah.
is. But it's like, 2 or 3 years, if they're actually moving ahead with a process, it's really in the building inspector's
It's just such a
discretion.
deplorable looking building, though,
Yeah.
It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
The way it is now, right?
Yeah, it's a shame that it,
You know.
whatever, something hasn't, really come to fruition yet there.
It's a good location.
Number one, for the, for the look, and number two, for the revenue.
Yeah.
Whether it's pot revenue or if if it could have been meal tax revenue,
Yeah.
if it could have been.
Yeah.
How long does the deed restriction last? If they were to sell the property off, does that die?
I'm not sure, but I think it's
There's no restaurants going there.
probably, if not permanent, it's like a long,
Drawn out process.
20 years or something. I mean, it's probably permanent in the deed, but just from my knowledge of real estate law, there may be a reason why it isn't forever, but yeah, long enough. The marijuana people, I'm trying to think what else they were proposing to put in there. One was to have like, at least they could have like a fast food operation,
Oh,
like
yeah,
a Chinese
just what we
takeout,
need,
Chinese takeout, something like that.
Yeah.
That would be Kentucky Fried Chicken, no?
No, because when they came before us,
Yeah.
they wanted to have the right
Yeah.
to have like a drive-through window, and we turned that down
Excuse me.
because we felt that would really affect the neighbors. So we finally said, okay, you can have, a Subway shop or Chinese takeout food, but not something with. We said you can't have a drive-through window.
They would be fighting with all the people that are trying to pull into the car wash.
There you
That's
go.
going to be all the
Yeah,
car wash.
that's it.
There's a line of people from the car.
That's
Whenever
what
you
we
go
had,
to
yeah,
the
the
car
car
wash,
wash
they're like
was-
5 deep in the
Most of the
parking lot.
people came. People didn't come to that hearing to oppose the marijuana operation.
Oh,
They
yeah.
came to complain about the car wash.
You must have Jim, huh?
Someone new bought that car wash not too
No,
long
did they really?
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
he just
Paying
sold
guy?
The thing was malfunction. No, he sold the rush guy or whatever. He sold it. Some younger kid that bought it owns a gas station. And,
Now, we recently approved permits for where the Northeastern Savings Bank is opposite the Toll House Village.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, another car wash,
We
right?
approved them dividing that lot and putting a large car wash onto the
Same
vacant.
guy.
No, more like the one down in
Yeah.
East Bridgewater.
Yeah, sure,
Really elaborate big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's room for that there. But again, we gave them a permit, and then I'm not sure if they're going ahead or not. I got conflicting
Can we do
messages
that
from the
with the
people.
plumbing? Like, wasn't the water department saying that we weren't able to?
A lot of water for
It's all
those things
recycled.
gets recycled,
Yeah.
actually, yeah. They said they had talked to the DPW,
Yeah.
and DPW was okay with it.
It's probably more economics. I mean, how many car washes? Same thing with
That's
shop
shops and
shops,
car
right?
We,
You got-
we,
what's it?
we question them on that, but we can't, we can't make their economic judgment for them,
Look at that, was it?
Should do a
Buds
drive-through
over in
weed
Abington?
shop car wash. Like the old days.
Which one?
Buds, yeah.
Oh, Bud, yeah.
It's on 18, it's right.
Yeah, and then they opened
There's another one right
across the street.
There's one right in Brockton too, right
Yeah.
before
Yeah,
Home
Papa
Depot.
Gino's.
Do a great
So that's
job.
what happened. I mean, the price of marijuana has dropped, and all these places have opened, so the economics
Yeah.
have changed.
The way it works.
And the state regular, like the licensing, that's probably what's really holding them up on that side. Is
Well,
probably
it's what held the Bedford Street, the one further down that has opened now. That was at least 6 months, if not a year later than it should have been because of the whole
because the Cannabis
confusion of the
Commission.
Cannabis Control Commission,
Yeah.
which is, I think, now.
Well, that's the
straightened
one
out.
on 18 that just opened like this past weekend. I was driving by. It's
Another
been
one?
saying they were opening
It's-
down the
it's
street.
been open.
Elevated routes. That one just opened. This is down. I'm talking in Abington or.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But I just saw they had balloons out there, and I'm like, I thought that was already a weed shop like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and I was like, it just hadn't opened yet.
Yeah, so the one in Whitman was delayed, not
They're
because of
all
anything the
about-
town did, but because of this.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you as always,
Okay.
John, and thanks for all the work you do for the town.
Keep walking. I live
Yeah.
on Alden and Dewey. I see you every
Oh, yeah.
day walking by my house.
That's one of my regular routes.
Yeah, you're it. Yeah.
Have a good night.
Take care.
Take care.
Be safe on those streets, they're icy. Sandy, how
What else?
are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh, we just caught it. Shut it down.
You gotta come up.
Leanne McKenzie. She is a member of the Conservation Commission. Thank you.
You guys meet next door, right?
Downstairs,
Oh, okay.
in the
Historical.
basement.
Yeah, that's
Historic.
Yeah.
I'm Mike Warner.
Sorry.
Chuck Colby.
Al Cafferty, how are you?
Mike Andrews.
Jason Hunter. Mike Flanagan. Kevin Wolf.
And we have Ann I think is on the phone.
And
One of our members here.
Hello.
Hi.
So you've gone through these before?
Yeah.
Yes.
A little bit?
Yeah, last year.
So-
Yes,
Yeah.
last year. It was our first one. It's like before,
got real tough this year now.
yeah, it was before I think we weren't notified about it. And then before that, I think George, I don't know if he came or not, but I don't know if you guys ever
No,
had.
no, you guys, it's from the last few years you've
Yeah.
covered, so.
Yeah.
Smaller departments, but everyone counts.
Yeah. And our job is, we're an advisory committee to the select board. Our job is just go through all the departmental budgets and make recommendations to the select board. They make the decision, we just give them our thoughts on it. So really appreciate you coming in. Tell us a little bit about the Conservation Commission, what they do, and then, you know, it's not a huge budget, but
No.
I'm sure you have some comments in there, so.
So we protect in charge of protecting the wetlands. So even if a property owner has wetlands, they can't do whatever they want. We enforce the regulations of the state, but we also obviously support the town as well. And so if someone comes and wants to build a house, they go through a notice of intent. So they file with the state, we get notification, we have a public hearing, and then we first we go do a site visit we get maps, and I mean, like the middle school was like, it took almost 2 people to open or carry the box because of all the maps and how heavy they are and everything. So or it's just somebody draws it on a piece of paper. I mean, we get all kinds. So we do that, or we go out and look at if someone's anticipating or, you know, thinking about doing something, then they come and ask us, and they'll have like an engineer have mapped out the wetlands, and then we go and like walk the site, and sometimes we agree with what they did, or other times we'll have them move it away from the wetlands. We had that on, what was it, Tilton? Yeah, so it was off of Plymouth Street, and so sometimes they'll come back, and sometimes, like the gentleman had before us said, it's like, well, we gave them the permit, but they've never done anything. It's like that's happened quite a few times, like on Temple Street, and on this off the Plymouth Street, that they go to once they get that determination, then it's like,
Sell off.
yeah, they can do that, or then they decide, oh, it's going to be way too pricey, or, you
Yeah,
know.
then they go get a quote from somebody, like, yeah, never mind, I can't.
Yes,
I can't do
exactly.
this.
It's like, oh, we can't
I
put
need
in,
more fill.
like,
Yeah, building on wetland.
Yeah.
I can't work with this.
I can't put 60 houses in, you're only going to let me put 30. It's like, it's not going to be profitable, you know,
Yeah.
so it just depends. And
Yeah.
sometimes we never even know. Like, there's a place, 870 Temple Street. We did them 2 years ago, and they have yet to come do anything with it. And they have 3 years from the time that we give them a order of conditions. So they come before us with a notice of intent, and then if we approve it, we give them order of conditions. And they have 3 years to complete the project. If they don't have that done in that time, then they can come and get an extension and for another 3 years. They can keep on doing it as long as they do it, request it within the 3 years. If it expires, they have to start the whole process over. And it's depending on, everything is, the fees that we generate, well, we don't generate, but that we get is determined by the square footage and what type of thing it's all regulated by the state. So when they go online and fill out the notice of intent, it automatically calculates, and then it'll tell the state gets this much and the town of Whitman gets this much, and then we deposit it in our notice of intent account. And with that account, we maintain Hobart and Harding Pond. We just approved 2 invoices for this year for them. It's Water and Wetlands is the company we've used, and they come and first come out and just sometimes they get a kayak or a canoe and get it. Sometimes, well, for Hobart's a little bit more of a journey than Harding when
It's probably my pond.
Yeah, so it's like you just go and they take water samples and they do other kinds of things, and then the big part is getting or trying to get rid of the invasive species. Like there's purple loosestrife, which kind of looks pretty, but it's not good. And just other things to keep the ponds clean and things like that. And then we have the Boy Scouts come, well, not Boy Scouts, by then they are, my gosh, what are they called?
Eagle Scouts.
They're approaching Eagle Scouts.
Eagle Scouts. We've had, I think, we had 2 last year. So one did put a bench at Harding Pond, but he also cleared a path so you could walk through from Priscilla to Pine. But then also the DPW, a few years ago they got some piece of equipment. I don't know if it's like a lawnmower or not, but it's probably twice as wide as this and just cleans, mows it through. So
Good for
that way you could,
wetlands.
so you can, it makes it safer for people. You can see people walking, so it's not like bushes and everything. So if somebody goes for a walk, you can't see that, it's just a safety issue. And what other things? I'm trying to think of all the other things we do.
Just watching over the other conservation land in town.
Yes. Yes.
What about development? Developers, there's a piece of property up off of 27 towards Sportsman's Trail back there. There's a conservation back there. Is that anything going on with that property
Is
down
that
there?
870 Temple that
Yeah.
you're talking about?
I think so. Yeah, they have come before us before, but
Yeah, that's, I mean, it's still delayed, right?
yes, I don't think we ever approved it because they come before us and then the situation's like,
They
oh,
want these,
okay.
and then they cut back,
Yeah.
and it's not worthwhile.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think that was the spot that somebody wanted to put in a kennel at some point. I mean, this was years ago, so I don't. And then I think the neighbors were up in arms that they didn't want all, a kennel with the barking dogs and everything near there. But what other things have we done? And we issue enforcement orders, and in fact, we're doing that this evening. So, for example, Columbia Auto Repair next to McLaughlin Chevrolet has violated their order of conditions. So they put up a building without a permit, and it's on wetlands. I think it's in the buffer zone.
It's in the buffer, it's very close.
So, but
There's a fee for that.
yeah, so we are issuing a cease and desist order. They have to come before us. There was another property on Wild Turkey Lane that the previous owners put in a pool. It's an above-ground pool, but they didn't get a permit from the building inspector. But the pool part isn't it doesn't fall under us.
It's right next to the water.
But it's the water, and then they're dumping the runoff of the pool over the fence into the wetlands. So that's where it comes into ours. So we have to kind of do that, and then just making decisions of, if things are in the wetlands or not, and when there's subdivisions, like 870 Temple Street, they were townhouses or condominiums.
Okay, yes.
So the neighbors were concerned, and they were like, well, they're going to cut down trees. Like, well, it's their property. They can cut down trees as long as they're not in the wetlands, you know. So we try to help the neighbors, but also the property owners. It's like, can you plant some? You're going to cut down trees, but can you put up a fence for the sound barrier and things like that? And
Little mediation
yes,
to help out.
yes, because people like the trees and they're
Yeah.
concerned about, you know, the wildlife and things like that.
Yeah, you just help navigate through to
Yes,
find some other alternatives.
yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, anytime people complain, they come before us, they'll give us a call. I get quite a few phone calls, and we take turns going to site inspection or just investigating what people are saying. And that can be, you know, it depends on the week. It can be nothing, or it could
Disgruntled
be.
neighbors that together.
Yeah. It's like, let's put our hands together, kumbaya. Just to try to, because a lot of them are neighbor disputes
Yeah.
that we just have to, you know, and if we need to, just if sometimes, well, the Conservation Commission, so we have DEP in Lakeville that we contact and get advice from, because like for the Wild Turkey Lane,
Yeah.
it's like, what do we do when they put a pool in? The pool was a part of the order of conditions, and now it's there. These people just moved. I mean, we found out about it when they were doing a purchase and sale. So I can't, in good conscience, tell these people that just bought a house
That they can't have it.
that they can't have that they paid for the pool, but now you can't have the pool.
If
That,
they're the ones dumping over the.
but the previous owners were.
Oh, the previous ones.
So yeah, the previous.
If the pool, the real
Right.
pool.
Yes.
Just don't dump over the fence. You get to keep the pool.
Yes,
Come on.
exactly. So that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You can have
but
the pool,
that
just-
that's we. The problem also was that the pool wasn't part of the first order conditions, and the previous owner, one, didn't get a permit for the pool or the storage shed. So
That whole street was illegal, wasn't it?
no,
It's not a town road, though. The town wouldn't allow that to be one of the roads approved.
because I think there's only like 4 houses. Isn't there like you have to have so many houses to be
I'm not
accepted?
sure, but that wasn't even the case when the town wanted to approve all the other towns that were really weren't built for the town standards.
Yeah.
You know, so somehow this didn't get passed over.
Yeah, so it's like, we only found out when they were passing the papers that
Yeah.
any of this happened, so,
So you reach out to the DEP if you guys need assistance. I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
yeah, that way we
Fantastic.
get advice and, you
Yeah.
know.
And they come up with the enforcement. They can find them, put some.
We haven't ever got to that point yet. We can't
we need
find
We
them.
need tax revenue.
Well, we're working on
We
that
know.
in our
In the
bylaws.
budget, I want some revenue
Yeah.
coming in.
Well, we're working that on, we're doing bylaws, so we're working on that.
Yeah.
So we've got money in our fees thing in our proposal
Excellent.
to do that, so.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So I have a question then about, we have a couple of other departments that have fees, recreation department, the pool, right? They charge for pool use, et cetera, and that pretty much pays for the pool. I don't know, do you have a number for what you commonly see for income from fees that you've already explained to us what you do with that money, which is great. So you're basically maintaining your ability as a commission based on those fees, but we're just curious, how much money are we talking about?
I don't know, because the accountant didn't give us I would have brought that tonight, our list of, but it just depends on what's being built. So
Right.
our piece for like a single family, I think it was like a condo or something like that, our fee is like only like $262, you know, for that project. But if it's like Captain's Way, that's but Captain's Way is, we don't get every single one because not every single house was
There's a
wetlands.
need for it.
So, yeah, so we only get a piece, and it depends on it's calculated through the size of the lot, too. So it can, it can go up to like, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I've seen like some checks like $1,500, but those are kind of rare anymore.
Sure. It just seems like you do an awful lot with money, but without knowing how much it is. Then the question is, what if those fees? What if the state decides to take more? How does that affect you being able to do all the other things you do in the town?
Then we
It just
can't maintain the ponds.
Right.
Yeah.
So and there's been years that we didn't have enough money in the account to.
Done a
Do
great
it.
job. Whoever did the Harding's Pond, they cleaned it up. Was that with the DPW too?
No, so years ago, I can't remember.
Even Hobart's.
They
I see the sign up there for conservation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we have but the sign for Harding Pond, I think
Yeah.
it was made out of, I don't know, some type of wood or whatever, and
Yeah.
it kind of just deteriorated, so it got taken away. But we try to maintain, like, when we first started the process again, maintaining it was, I don't know, years ago. They dredged the ponds, not like totally dredging, but to get some of the equipment in there and just to clean up the bottom, because like we took, we had the DPW take the rails for Harding Pond to lower the water, so they could do that, and they did it for Hobart's as well.
Yeah.
But with Harding, full disclosure, I live on Meyer Farm, which is right next
You
to
live there?
Yes.
All right.
We're next to where Tom Evans and
okay,
Vaughn
okay.
used to get.
Yeah.
They were my next door neighbors. But they lowered the thing, and my husband, me, and my daughter, I don't know how many bicycles we found in there.
Oh, bicycles,
Tires,
cars.
everything. It was like, oh my gosh. So it's like,
Bodies haven't come up yet.
yeah, so we, called DPW. We've cleaned up all this stuff. Can you come get it, please? So, yeah, so we've done that to kind of, that's the last time it was done, like probably, my daughter was born in 2023. I think it was probably 2008 or something, maybe we did that. But, so, Water and Wetlands comes and they, take pictures, samples, and things like that, and they give us reports of what's going on with the pond and, the oxygen level and all.
Yeah,
It's a
pH.
whole thing.
Is Tank still alive?
Who? What?
Tank, the turtle, snapping turtle, remember him?
Yes, he's still there. He's a big guy. Then we have little ones too. What?
The otters over there have been on.
Yes, and beavers.
Yeah.
We have
Seen
a
beaver in a while, or evidence of it, but
Well,
I know it was there in the
talk to
spring, right?
Yeah,
DPW.
Oh,
They-
they see lots of evidence.
Well,
They're always
no.
clear. They have to break
They-
it down.
They have to clean it up because it blocks. I mean, they're pretty good at like
Yeah.
damming it up.
Yeah.
So then they have to go and bring in their truck and take the bars off. And,
There's one up at Holbrook Meadow. So I live on Alden and Dewey. In the woods straight across, the beaver will build a dam out, like up the meadow, like further up for that what feeds into the pond.
yeah. Oh well, and also, and I'm not going to pronounce it right. The new Peaceful Meadows. I'm just going to put it that way.
Horse-
They were having issues with the
Oh,
beaver
yes.
too,
Oh, yeah.
backing it up, and that's why it delayed them having the cows come because
Flooded the field.
if they had to somehow rectify the situation, which I don't know what they did, but they didn't want all the water going down Harvard Street and East Bridgewater and flooding them. So, but there was I don't know if he was a park ranger, but he gave me information about some type of, I presume it's metal or something that goes around the dam, so they can't clog the dam, but so they feel like
They've done their job.
they can do their stuff, but it doesn't affect the flow and everything like that. So But yeah, the otters are still.
Oh, yeah.
I saw him popping through the ice fishing the other day.
I was wondering because I still haven't had time to like, do they hibernate or do they not? You know, and then the beavers.
A few weeks ago, they must have created that hole because there's a hole that was popping in and out with fishing. So.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't.
there we go.
They don't hibernate. Alrighty, well, great, thank you so much. We'll check in with the accountant, and it's, not that we don't trust you or anything, it's, to me, that's part of your budget, right? And you do so much, and it would be nice to know what right now, it seems like it's working, but we've talked to a couple others. You saw John was in a little bit before, and we're not building as much as we were. And if that's the case, that's going to affect several departments, and it's going to make a difference in the town.
Yes, like tonight we approved one of the bills was $5,800, and the other one was, is it
Four high.
4,100?
Yeah, 4,100.
Yeah,
Low.
around 4,100
Yeah.
for the 2 ponds. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that'll be
I was just say, it's probably pushing $5,000 a pond just to run.
yes.
And that's for the whole year.
That's yeah.
Yep.
It's they split up in 3 invoices. One's in May, and that involves the permitting and things like that. And then obviously there are other stuff. And then in July, and then September, and then we get a year-end summary that they send to us.
Yep.
And we get a report each time they give us an invoice. So.
Great, well, thank you so much. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Thanks
for having us.
Yeah, better.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.
See you well.
Well, it is a little after 8.
Just same brand.
Hope I found capacity yet, though.
Yeah.
It's awesome. High school. Everything.
A couple of quick notes, and then if there's anything anybody else wants to bring up. But next week, 6:30, same time, information technology. They have a half an hour. Then we have, hopefully, our little break. We're not getting a lot of breaks, especially when doing 4 groups in a night. It just isn't working. Then we have the accountant in next week. And just looking ahead, we have a total of 4 weeks. The 27th, the 3rd, the 10th, and the 24th of February are more department meetings. And then we're done meeting with the departments at that point. So we have 2 departments that, you know, I haven't heard anything back from historical, and I haven't had any response from the clerk on rescheduling theirs. But the plan would be at the beginning of March. We're just gonna walk through them. I think we'll just kind of go through these like we used to do, and just start at budget item 1 and all of their line items. Where does it make sense for us to look at practically? But this does look like it's going to be a borrow and steal from one to another.
Yeah, you know, thinking, like we said, when the health department was in last week, small department, but a little bit of money might go a long way with them, but if you're going to give it to them, you got to take it from somebody else.
Yeah.
And even, you know, the library does, you know, that's a service that a good amount of people can utilize. And
Absolutely.
I've been here long enough, they've always really had a lot going on there. Pretty sure a lot of people are getting, you know, to hear that, you know, 21,000 might make a big difference, and, you know, we have some other departments that are needing, obviously, considerable more money, but yeah, it becomes...
Well, that's what I was saying about the difference between what the new director was getting and what the old director was getting.
Right, yeah. Is there a salary,
There-
account administrator? Well, I didn't take a look at that, but yeah. Doesn't always work that way, though.
Well, I remember
found that out.
I remember looking last year and saying, "Wow, he gets paid a really good salary," and then he backed it up by all of his
Yeah.
decorations were, you know.
So in 25, he was 77,066.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was?
He was
That's what the-
77,066.
that's the extended
She's
25.
80,960.
I wanna find, alright.
almost
Yeah.
4,000, which,
Labor costs are tough these days.
yeah, costs go up.
I mean,
I'm gonna find one from.
all 2.5.
I remember,
increase.
I'm gonna.
Tax revenue goes towards.
Brady
was this thing? Both of them together, probably.
No one, they would just put them together. Sure.
No, you're right, it's, and part of it is she was hired, they already did the 2.5 for last year, they've already decided on the 2.5 for next, so, right there, it's 5% more than we're making.
But they don't want to bring in another part-time, but they want to give the hours to the existing staff.
This is artificial.
No, it sounds like she's fine bringing in the other part-timer, but we did, or the town did pull back that part-time position. And it's, I'm with you, Chuck, on that. I mean, we, as a town, we made a few body changes last year. And I don't know that those were, from a services perspective,
Yeah,
were the right
best
thing.
places.
I mean, we saved $21,000 in somebody in the library.
Yeah.
It was 21,000.
Out of, whatever, 45+ million dollars was, that didn't break the bank, right?
If we had stayed in
And
compliance,
same thing
it
on
would
the,
have been the 21 grand.
Yeah.
If we had stayed on track the 38 consecutive weeks, it would have been 15.
Yep.
100%.
And in the health department.
Health department.
They're clerical or they're, short, yeah, it's just, it's,
Yeah, and we lost that nice
department.
rabies service that they used to do
Yeah.
because they just don't have employees. So that's what those are the conversations that we'll be having. My only other thing was I did reach out to Mary Beth. I haven't got a confirmation yet, but we have a tentative meeting with the select board, so a joint meeting. We'd meet with them on Tuesday, February 17th. Now that is school vacation week, so we do not have a normal meeting. So we would just come in and I don't know if that's a 6 or a 6:30 or a 7 meeting. That's what I'm waiting back for her. Generally,
It's usually
it's like,
7, isn't it?
yeah, it's like an
it's
hour.
either 6:30 or 7
Right.
usually, yeah.
But the thoughts are, we meet with them here. We're almost at the end. The only group that we have after this is the Whitman Hanson Regional School District. That
we'll
select
have
board
them.
meeting
Yeah.
Yeah, and South Shore Vo-Tech is.
is just before that. It's the week before, so that's,
He has the best presentation, by the way, doesn't he?
That's good, yeah.
yeah, they do some nice.
Texel.
What's that?
South Shore Road 10.
Yeah.
He's organized.
The librarian did too.
Librarian was great.
Yeah.
I think the fire
Packet was
chief
good.
doesn't.
Yeah, but most people do a
Plastic
good job.
front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Smith.
So, but that's kind of where we're at right now. On a personal note, I will not be here on the 3rd of March. So, depending upon,
Yeah, is there any, what's that
Well,
schedule
no.
showing?
so that, normally that would be Kathleen. I just don't know with
Yeah.
her situation. So I'm thinking maybe Chuck or Al, if you want
Not
to.
Chuck.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not making.
What's going on, what's on the agenda as of now?
So this is the first, just starting our own reviews.
Okay.
That's all. So it's
Okay.
just our checks. But I'm going to be in Florida for a sales kickoff meeting that I'm running for that week. I'd rather be here.
What part of Florida?
We're in Disney.
Oh, good.
But I don't know if we'll ever see the park.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have a preliminary budget by then.
Yeah.
That way we
I
can
hope
go
so.
through.
Right, that you can actually
Right,
look
instead
at
of
some
us
real
going-
numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
So what she did send us the preliminary. I think I sent that at the beginning of the process. What I've been doing is, as we're getting these things, I've been populating that budget with what we're getting from these folks. So I will share that out with everybody so you can see, all of these sheets.
You see a big
in one
discrepancy?
place.
You see a big discrepancy, Mike?
So far, they definitely are trying to keep it that 2.5%. I mean,
Right.
the department heads are doing it, but I am concerned about
But it's a
the
number.
police chief last week. Very honest answer. Utilities. You said keep it at 0, so I kept it at 0. This is the 4th year that
Is
we
it
have
gonna
not
happen?
raised, and it's not realistic. So how are we paying for these bills if it's not in the budget? How are we trying to move a budget just because it says that it's balanced on the books, but it's not in reality, and we're in a negative state? That doesn't help us.
Superintendent just got fired for.
Yeah. So. Yeah. my professors at Wharton would probably have a conniption over some of this stuff at this point, but okay. So, all righty, and anything else that anybody else has? Ann?
No, nothing for me.
All right, well, thank you so much. I know it's terrible to listen to online calls, but I'm looking for,
I'll make a motion.
there we go.
See you next meeting.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so Al's a second. All in favor of,
Alright.
and that is, everybody, Ann, are you yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Thank you, everybody.